in global affairs and join us as we document history in the making. Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Nasma Abdul Mohsen and this is AVN News. Palestinian officials say scores of minors have been arrested by Israeli forces since December 6th, following the U.S. recognition of Jerusalem as the Israeli capital. Hundreds of children are already languishing inside Israeli jails amid calls by rights groups for their immediate release.
Palestinians have protested against Israel's detention of children that has recently increased to an alarming level. Activists and families of prisoners and detained children took part in this sit-in. They gathered outside the building of the International Committee of the Red Cross in Ramallah. Palestinian officials say Israeli troops have detained over 230 minors since U.S. President Donald Trump announced Washington's new policy on Jerusalem Al-Quds. In 2017, almost 1,600 minors were detained. Many are even younger than 10.
This is a systematic policy adopted by the Israeli occupation forces against the children. The number of children detained has increased and continues to rise. Since December 6, over 230 children have been detained, accused of taking part in the rallies or throwing stones at the Israeli soldiers.
The sit-in was also held in solidarity with teen activist Ahd Tamimi, who was detained 2 weeks ago after a video of her slapping an Israeli soldier in her village in Nabi Saleh went viral. Her detention extended on Thursday for 4 additional days for the continuation of the interrogation. Her father, Basim Tamimi, told us nothing will succeed in intimidating his child or stop their struggle.
She has remained strong, unafraid of Israelis, and she insists that she was facing the occupation forces and was defending her home and village. In the next hearing, the Israeli court will be presenting a list of charges. But we and Ahad, on the top of us, are determined to continue in the path of resistance until ending the Israeli occupation.
According to officials, Israel today holds around 600 Palestinian minors in its prison cells. Human rights organizations have warned that they are subjected to torture and abuse by Israeli forces, and that these kinds of treatments will have long-term negative effects on their mind and body. Israel claims the arrest of Palestinian children is an attempt to intimidate them not to follow the path of resistance when they grow up. But Palestinians have always proved such allegation is wrong, with people from all walks of life and ages going ahead with the protests against the Israeli policies, regardless of the crackdown they receive in response. Mona Kandil for Press TV, in front of the Israeli military jail of Ofer, West-occupied Ramallah.
After a 2-week holiday recess, U.S. lawmakers get back to work this week with a long to-do list and deadlines looming at the start of 2018. VOA's Michael Bowman reports from Washington.
The motion is adopted.
The Republican-led Congress finished 2017 with a tax overhaul President Donald Trump had championed.
We are making America great again. You haven't heard that, have you?
Now, at the start of 2018, an election year, lawmakers have yet another deadline, January 19th, to extend U.S. government funding and avert a partial shutdown.
We're ready to work together across the aisle to ensure there is no lapse in funding for critical services.
Last year's fight over tax reform effectively pushed other priorities to the sidelines, including many with bipartisan support, like disaster funding.
I'll say that I'm disappointed that we're leaving here at the end of this year not having taken on a disaster relief bill that I know the people in Florida and Texas and the wildfires out west, Puerto Rico, need. I believe that we will confront it. I believe that we're going to do that in the early part of next year.
In addition, Congress has 3 months to address the plight of hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants brought to America as children. President Trump ended a program that shielded them from deportation, but gave Congress until March to enact a legislative fix.
The uncertainty is unbelievably difficult. These are people who were told previously by our government that they could stay. They registered with our government. And now with each and every day, more and more of them are losing their status.
global flashpoints will also demand Washington's attention.
We're actually closer, in my view, to a nuclear war with North Korea and in that region than we've ever been, and I just don't see I don't see the opportunities to solve this diplomatically at this particular point.
As always, the start of a new year elicits calls for bipartisanship and civility in Washington.
I urge my colleagues, all of us, let's end this practice where raw politics drowns out the supplications of the better angels of our nature. The country is watching. It is my hope that we, all of us, can eschew contempt and vitriol in our speech and be more measured in our tone.
A measured tone may be harder to find as the calendar inches closer to November's midterm elections. 1/3 of Senate seats and the entire House of Representatives will be decided. Michael Bowman, VOA News, Washington.
Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.
U.S. vice presidents historically have had a widely varying influence in the White House, depending on their relationship with the president. As Donald Trump's administration prepares for its second year, VOA's Mike O'Sullivan reports on how Vice President Mike Pence's role continues to broaden.
On a series of overseas trips, including this visit to U.S. troops in Afghanistan in December, Mike Pence has taken on the role of presidential envoy. His role is more than merely symbolic, says one historian of the vice presidency.
Vice President Pence seems to be included and involved in decision-making in the White House, is being given assignments, and the vice president, for his part, has been laudatory, at times adulatory, towards the president in his public comments.
A mission he has embraced.
Congratulations and thank you. Thank you for seeing through the course of this year an agenda that truly is restoring this country.
In some administrations, the vice president has little power. In others, he is a partner to the president.
Nelson Rockefeller, Gerald Ford's vice president, called it standby equipment. He's there. He's behind the president. He is the president's biggest cheerleader. But he also has influence within the West Wing of the White House.
Pence doesn't have the prominence of Joe Biden or Al Gore, but his role is evolving. He has taken on the role of presidential clarifier.
So when the president has at times made controversial statements, for instance, questioning the commitment to the joint defense provisions of NATO, or made statements about how he would deal with, say, Venezuela, the vice president has come in and has sort of cleaned up those statements.
Affirming the U.S. commitment to NATO and urging diplomacy to halt what the administration calls Venezuela's slide into dictatorship. When Trump supported the Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore, who was defeated following allegations that he had once made sexual overtures to teenagers, Pence did not endorse him and said the allegations were disturbing. Unlike Trump, Pence has a great deal of political experience, 12 years as a congressman from Indiana, and 4 as that state's governor.
Pence knows the players on Capitol Hill. Pence is trusted by the Republican players, at least, on Capitol Hill.
Comforting victims after a hurricane in Texas, making official visits to Argentina and Australia, Pence is carving out his role as presidential envoy.
And he's trying to walk a fine line between being supportive of the president, trying to placate his constituency of one, and yet at the same time trying to not entirely embrace some of the controversial tweets and other statements that the president makes from time to time.
So far, these analysts say Pence has been walking that fine line successfully. Mike O'Sullivan, VOA News, Los Angeles.
2 years after a state of emergency was declared in Flint, Michigan because of lead-poisoned water, residents have been assured their water is now safe. But residents are wary even though these assurances come from the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality. VOA's Anush Avetisian visited Flint and spoke to residents who face a battle for clean water every day.
And every time when I get in the shower, I'm going to rush a lot.
4-year-old Sincere Smith became the poster child of Flint's water crisis when his face poked by lead poisoning scars appeared on the cover of 2016 issue of Time magazine with the headline, "The Poisoning of an American City." Nearly 2 years later, his mother, Ariana Hawk, says she still only uses bottled water when she bathes her 5 children and prepares food.
This means that is good to go.
It has been 2 years since a state of emergency was declared in Flint, when the city had to switch to water from Detroit, some 112 kilometers away. In 2017, the state of Michigan declared the water is safe to drink, but only if filtered, because all the lead-affected pipes have not been replaced.
Governor Snyder said we need to use that filter because our water is safe. Our water is not safe.
Every day after work, Hawk drives to Flint's water distribution center, where the city provides bottled water for its residents free of charge. Most people in Flint do not believe the water is safe.
Some people don't trust, regardless of what the scientific data shows. Some people, unfortunately, still don't trust the water.
Still doesn't feel safe to drink it, and I even have my pipes redone, but the water is still looking the same.
Pregnant women and people younger than 21 who drank Flint water are now eligible for special health care coverage paid by the government. So far, there is no way to reverse the effects of lead poisoning.
In children, we worry about decreased IQ points, as well as attention deficit hypertensivity disorder, ADHD, as well as other cognitive impairment. And for children, there's not really a way to reverse those effects, but with proper diet and nutrition, counseling, decreasing the exposures ongoing, you can help to not make those adverse effects as impactful.
How many in your household?
4.
Any babies?
And while Flint residents continue to receive help, including bags of food, the government works on replacing lead pipes made possible by a settlement from a $97 million lawsuit brought by the Natural Resources Defense Council.
Right now we're in what we would call the implementation of the settlement or the agreement. So we're able to get this great agreement, again, recognizing there's still so much to do in Flint, but this piece of it is a good step forward.
The state, who in my opinion is really liable and should really step up so we can get this mass construction and these projects done. I think it should be a national infrastructure concern.
Meanwhile, Flint residents continue their daily battle for clean water.
That's not fair to the citizens. That's not fair to these kids.
Anusha Vitisyan with Dmitry Shakov, VOA News, Flint, Michigan.
Plastic bags are so cheap to produce, sturdy and easy to carry that they are the preferred container in much of the world. But they are also a big source of pollution. Artist Alita Irby has found another use for plastic bags by turning trash into art. VOA's Faiza Al-Masri reports, Faith Lapidus narrates.
Alita Irby enjoys starting her day with the newspaper. She'll read it later on in the day. What's more important each morning is getting the plastic bag the paper comes in. The mixed media artist recognized its potential about 3 years ago.
And as I was taking the paper out, I felt the texture of these bags and they were soft. I just looked down and realized that it takes 3 to make a braid. And I'll put a few staples in here just to keep it from unraveling.
Since then, Irby has been using plastic bags to create abstract lines in her pieces. Before incorporating plastic bags in her work, Irby used natural materials like feathers, leather, and dried plants. All those elements highlight her Native American heritage and identity. Navajo bundles is an example.
I was replicating a hairstyle a Navajo hairstyle. When the hair is heavy and it's looped back on itself, I took the piece of plastic bag and looped it back onto itself and secured it with a tie.
At the African American Museum and Cultural Center, Plates and Ponytails, a collection of Irby's works, is now on display.
People always think of it as one thing when they're far away, and then when they get up close, they see that it's a plastic bag.
What we're going to do is we're going to lie them flat like this with the print up.
Amazed at how she turns trash into treasure, some neighbors asked her to teach them how to create art from used plastic bags.
I think it's fascinating. It's wonderful. And I do plan on sharing this with my seniors at my church.
I never gave any more thought to what to do with a plastic bag. Yeah, this is definitely different.
I want to make a masterpiece that I can put in a frame and put it up on my wall, and then I know that I did it.
I think that we are all artists, really, and there's beauty all around us.
Irby says all you have to do is open your eyes and bring the outside in. For writer Faiza El Masri, I'm Faith Lapidus, VOA News.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Have a very pleasant day.
Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.
गाफलिफ गाफ दाद मीदे अतोल की राज्य घुरी तरक्की का नारस का बलाकम वन्या किही नेत्तो मीदे अतोल गुदुरती इंगतोल मीदे अतोल नट्टा दाफ तरक्की इन दिमाग का दान गुते उन्नान तो नोन्नान नोंदो यहाँ बोड़ो रत्त गिना अड़वमें के तरक्की के नारे है कि टूरिज्म कम बैरो किने तो गाफलिफ गाफ दाल दू कोला फहिन दिमाग का दान
ದಿವೆಹಿನ್ನಕಿ ಹುರಿಹಾ ರಹೆಗೆ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ವೆಸ್ ಹೇವರು ಬಯಕೆ ಬುಣ್ಮಕುನ್ ದೊಕ ಕಣ್ಣುವಾಣೆ ಬಾಲಿವುಡ್ ಗೆ ಲವಯಕಸ್ ಹಾಲಿವುಡ್ ಗೆ ಲವಯಕಸ್ ದಿವೆಹಿನ್ ಫರಿತಕಮಾಯಕ ಲವಯ ಕಿಯಾ ಲವಾಗೆ ಫೋರಿಗ ಬಾವರಿವಾ ಮಂಜರ್ ಫೆನೆ ಮಿಕಂ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ರಂಗಳ ತಜರಿಬಾ ಕೊಲ್ಲವಣಿ ಆ ಆಹಾರ ಮರ್ಹಬಾ ಕಿಮಟಕ ಕಾಣಿವಾ ಸರ್ಹದುಗ ಬೇಬಿ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ದೇಹಾಸ್ ಅಶಾರೆನ್ ಶೋಗೆ ಫೆಂವರಾ ಇಂತಿಜಾಮ್ ತಕಾಮೆದು ಎಚ್ಚೆ ಬುಣ್ಮವ್ವರೆ ತಣುಗೆ ಫೋರಿ ಮಾ ಗದಕಂ ಫಾಹಕ ಕೊಲ್ಲಂಜೆಹೆ ಹಿಂದಿಯಾ ದಿವೆಹಿ ಹಿಮೆನೆಹೆ ತಫಾತು ರಹತಹುಗೆ ಹಿಗ್ಗ್ಯಾಮ್ ರೀತಿ ಲವತಕೆ ಶೋಗ ಎಕಿ ಫಣ್ಣಾಣ ಹುಷಾಳಾದ ಮುಂದಿಯೈರು ಶೋ ಬಲಾಲುಮ ದಿಯ ಆಮುಗೆ ಮೂಣುಮತಿನ್ ಫೆಣಿಗೆ ದಿಯೈ ಹಿಂಹಮ ಜಿಹುಮಾ ಉಫಾವೆರಿಕಮ್ಗೆ ಕುದವರುತ ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕಿ ಈದೆಗೆ ಗೊತುಕ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಅಹರ್ಕವೆಸ್ ಬಾವ ಮುಂದಾ ಮಿ ಶೋ ಅಹರಕವ್ವರೆನ್ ಅಹರೆ ಫೋರಿ ಗದ ಕುರುಮ ಮಸೆಕೆ ಕುರಾಯರು ಮಿ ಫಹರುಗೆ ಶೋಕಿ ಫಹುಗೆ ತಾರೀಹಿಕ ರಾಜ್ಯಗ ಬೇವಿ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಕಾಮಯಾಬ್ ಅದಿ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಫುರಿಹಮ ಶೋಕಂ ಶೋ ಬಲಾಲುಮಂ ಎ ಸರಹದ ದಿಯ ಆಮುಗೆ ಮಿ ವಾಹಕತಕುಂ ಬಾರ ದಿಬೆ
ವರ ಮೊಳು ಅಸ್ಲು ಬೇರು ಮಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ವರ ಸಳಿ ಬರ್ ರಗಳು ಇಗೆತೋ ಅಳೋನ್ ಮೆಂಡ ಮಿ ಫೆನ್ನನಿ ಲೈವ್ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಅವರಿ ತಫಾತು ಏನ ಶೋ ಅದೆ ತರ ಹೀಗೆ ಬುಣಂಗೋತಿ ಅದ ಅಸಳಿ ವರ ರಗಳು ವರ ಮಜಾ ವರ ಮಜಾ ವರ ಸಳಿ ಅಮ್ಮ ವರ ಬರಾಬರ್ ಓಕೆ ನೋ ಬರಾಬರ್ ವರ ರಗಳು ವರ ನಸಾವೆ ಮಿ ಕಾಯ ಕಸತ ಕೋತೆ ಶೋ ಅದೆ ತರ ವರ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಜೆ
ಆಮುಕೊಂ ಹುಳುವಾಲಾಗೆನ್ ಕುರಿಯ ಗೆಂದಿಯ ಮಿ ಶೋ ಬಲಾಲುಮ ಗೀನ ಆದದೆಗೆ ಆಮುಂ ಖಾಣಿವಾ ಸರಹದ್ದ ಜಮಾವೀರು ಮೀಗೆ ತೆರೆಗ ರಾಜ್ಯಗ ತಿರಿಯುಳೆ ಬಿದೇಸಿಂಗೆ ಆದದುವೆಸ್ ವಕಿಮ ದೆನ್ನು ಶೋ ಅಂಗೈ ಜೋಶಾ ಫೋರಿ ನೆರುಮುಗ ಎ ಮೀಹುಂ ವೆಸ್ ದಿವೆಹಿನ್ನ ವಕಿ ದುಲನ ಕುರೆ ದಿವೆಹಿನ್ನಕೆ ಎಫ್ಫದಾಂ ಆಹಾರುಗೆ ಉಫಲುಗ ಎ ಮೀಹುಂ ವೆಸ್ ತಿಯೈ ಬ್ಯಾಗುಮುಂ
Marvelous, excellent performance, and the stage and everything perfect.
We love this show, we love this arrangement, and love this audience and the Maldives. We love our Maldives.
We love the show. Amazing performance, amazing event. Thank you very much.
We are enjoying the show. Enjoying the lot.
The show's amazing. Mika rocks, Geeta Jala rocks, Rahat Fateh Ali Khan rocks, Maldives rocks. Keep it up. Happy New Year.
Amazing. I love the show. I love Maldives.
Bollywood ke higyam reeti lawatakaka faham kuramun divehin dehas ashare kurmatli hinitumuma ufalaiko badi behu ge harakatakaiko e manzarata rattehinna aila membarunaiko photoya video kuramun
show puri manwane hena to e show support kurmatanga amuraye to nana idako almena welcome dehat ashara ge show en ferno emme has kamaki mi show badala matka wara gina adate ge amuraye to kaanwa sarahata ngas pavar show feshige nimende kaves mi be pulunge arohi ba support kurma eves badale nana kam